This is a Blender tutorial on Chapter 5. We need to modify the lighthouse a little bit before we proceed. So, we need to parent everything back to the lighthouse. So we just click on the walkway and we'll do Shift click on the lighthouse, Control P, and you need to be inside the window for this, parent to object. So if we look here, the walkway is now part of the lighthouse. So we need to do that with the remaining items. Click on roof, shift click on lighthouse, move back to the window, Control P, parent to object. And the last one is the glass. Select the glass, shift click the lighthouse, Control P, and now we need to save. I'm going to save this as Lighthouse 4. Now we need to load up the landscape. I left off on landscape 2. The next step is we need to append the lighthouse if you haven't already got the lighthouse on your scene. So what you'll need to do is select the lighthouse file, select object, and now select all 4 items. And click on Link Append. Now we have our lighthouse in the scene. We can place the lighthouse on the ground. And you don't want it floating above the ground, so you need to have it on the ground. Next thing we need to do is move the camera back. And let's rotate. Pull the camera way back. We'll need to move the empty as well. Move it to roughly ground height. We still want to see the water a bit. And then render. Make the camera a little bit higher. And that's not too bad. Now you can see parts of the landscape disappearing. So we need to click on the camera controls and modify the distance. So 200 should be sufficient for our scene. Okay, so we see a nice shadow in this direction. That means the other lamp is not working. So this lamp needs to have the distance increased to 200 and the energy raised to 2. And render again. Okay, this light is not high enough to generate a shadow, so we got to move it up. Now we render. And now we have a stronger shadow over here. Okay, that's not the point of this assignment. The point of this assignment is to add some world variables. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on world. And we're going to add mist to this world. We'll just render it with the default settings. And clearly the mist is too high. So all we get is gray, so that means the mist is too thick. To thin it out, we need to increase the depth. And let's start at 150. And render. Okay, so that's a little too deep. So let's bring it in a bit and render. And that gives us And in fact, that's good because the ground is slightly obscured here, and we don't see that the ground stops in the background. And last thing to do is we need to save this. And we'll call this LL for Landscape and Lighthouse World. And that completes this lesson.